So tonight we're going to talk about God is forgiving, God is merciful. God is forgiving, God is merciful. Because I want us to understand the necessity of this. So it is part of our Roman Catholic sacramental life. The Catholic Church is not a supermarket that you take up a card and you drive through and take up what you want and what you don't want you leave. The Catholic Church offers you a full sacramental life and you can't have one without the other. So we have to begin to understand. And I believe what the Catholic Church teaches. I was not born Catholic. I came to learn and I came to appreciate what it means to be Catholic as above all others. And those of you who were born into a Catholic context, you should appreciate it much more than I. The first time I went to confession was when I was 19 years old, before I was baptized. I didn't know about it before. So let's use it. And you know, if many of us as Catholics use the sacraments that the church has provided, we will have less need to go to the doctor. And it's a fact, you know. It's a fact. Because we carry so much of garbage in us, and we're not dealing with it the way it is meant to be dealt with, our spiritual life is affecting our physical life. Because if you're not spiritually healthy, you will not be physically healthy. One affects the other. And anybody with a little common sense, you don't have to go to university to find that out. All it needs is a little bit of common sense. But my late Archbishop used to say, if common sense was so common, more people would have it. Yes, it's a fact, you know. We talk about common sense, but common sense is so common, you know. It's a very rare thing now. So we have to exercise a little wisdom. One of the things we all have to be reminded is that God is always finding a way to forget our offenses without changing His law. So God is always looking for ways to forgive us. God is always looking for ways to draw us to Himself. Because when you and I do not experience forgiveness, we become strangers. Don't you know that with your own family? You remember the days when you was young and you knew something wrong, but you can't watch your mother and father in the face. And you're always making excuses and you're trying to hide because you know you do something wrong. And as soon as they say, who did not do that? I don't know. You become defensive. But that is how it is with God. That is why so many people walk away from the church. And they make all kind of excuses. The priest boring, they're singing good, me and I gonna tell me, I want to get married and it's too long. All kind of stupid excuses. The real excuse is we don't want to deal with who we are. And when we deal with who we are, all the excuses will stop. Because we come to realize face to face that before God, I am a sinner. I am a weak human being. I need God's mercy to live. And when we don't want to acknowledge that, we find all kind of reasons why. When you meet people who have left the church, their reason for leaving the church is not a reason really. Like I met somebody coming on the flight last night tell me when they leave. I said, why? Because they wanted to get married again and the church wouldn't marry them again. I said, but marriage is a once and for all sacramental event. And if there is no valid reason why your marriage should be annulled, the church cannot annul it, well, me and you might break up. So that is the reason why the church will marry again. So if everybody say me and you woman break up and me and the man break up, we're going to marry them 25 times in the lifetime. We can't do that. We can't do that. Because Jesus says, Moses allowed you to divorce. You know why? Because your hearts were so stubborn and unteachable. Are our hearts stubborn and unteachable? Can we understand reasonable thinking? But I say to you, what did Jesus say? I say to you from now on, one man, one woman, and one woman, one man. They are no outside and deputy. Isn't that so? No, but we want to say that you man and I fall out, or the man and I fall out, so I had to get somebody else. And the church must understand that. You see, that is the God of convenience. The God of convenience is God understands. God understands that I is a man, I must want a woman. God must understand I have needs. God must understand that if my wife leaves me, I can't live so. God must understand. Now, how much do I want God to understand? But we don't want to understand God's ways at all. But God is always looking for ways to forgive us. God is such a God. All we have to do is come and say to God, I am sorry. Now what is so hard? You know what is the number one reason why people don't go to confession? Anybody can take a guess? Pride. That's it. Pride. That they're looking at me, I'm still looking young, you see. They say, guys, a little more, me, I'm going to tell you. That's what they say, you know. And then when you meet a man like Father Aman, he too old. So you can't, anytime there's an extreme, he too young and he too old. Or, they have the box again. And when they have the box here coming in, you're finding a reason. But let me tell you something, my dear brothers and sisters. I have no interest in your sin. It doesn't excite me or depress me. The only interest is that I am the ordained minister. I am chosen from among men to act on behalf of men and women before God. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. And so since Father Aman and myself are the only ordained ministers here, and the church has given us such authority, because that is what St. John tells us in his Gospel, chapter 20, verse 21 and following. When Jesus appeared after the resurrection, Jesus came to his disciples, and the early Christian community invoked that. Because in the early Christian community, they used to have general confession. People used to stand up on a Sunday and tell everybody what they're doing. But you know that will create chaos in the community. And the early church realized, listen, we can't continue doing this thing. So they invoked the teaching. And so Jesus breathed upon the apostles and says to them, I give you the power to forgive sins. For those who sin to forgive, they are forgiven. And for those who sin to retain, they are retained. Now the second part of that is a bit troublesome, because the priest also has the right to tell you, I cannot give you absolution, because I do not believe you are truly sorry. Go home and think and pray and come. There are certain instances when the priest can do that. You follow me? Now, if I am talking and there's something you don't understand, stop me. Because I not only want to preach, I want to teach you something too. Because I want to see Catholic people getting serious about being Catholic.